Welcome to 2026 and a brand new year of Write, Writer, Write. Have you ever stopped to consider why you write? I'm not talking about having a great idea or story to share. I mean the soul-deep purpose that drives you, the fuel that propels you when the shine wears off, when inspiration fades, or when life gets crazy. Instead of kicking off 2026 with resolutions we may not even keep, let's make a truly fresh start. One that builds a foundation for everything that follows. And that starts with self-examination. Let's take a look at why we do what we do, because why is the key to passion, and passion is the most powerful promise keeper there is. Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, makes it clear that knowing your why is both strategic and motivational. Sinek explains that success doesn't happen without purpose. Businesses that inspire loyalty do more than offer products. They offer meaning. That's why a brand like Apple doesn't just sell computers. It invites people into an identity of creativity, innovation, and exclusiveness. Patagonia doesn't just sell outdoor clothing. It invites people into shared values of environmentalism, integrity, and justice. These same principles apply to writers. A writer driven by purpose doesn't just create structure or plot. They connect. Their stories touch readers emotionally. And they make the kind of connection that doesn't just happen by accident. It happens when there is purpose behind the work. And that begins with a writer who knows their why. If you don't know your why, there's a simple way to start searching. Look for your themes. Every writer has themes they keep returning to, even if they don't realize it. When you learn to recognize your recurring themes, your sense of purpose becomes clearer. When your purpose becomes clearer, your why emerges, passion soars, and perseverance becomes easier. Because you're no longer writing just to write. You are writing to explore something that truly matters. And that passion emerges in your words. Let's take a look at a few successful writers. In her poems and essays, Mary Oliver embraced wonder and reverence as a path to soul healing. In his novels, James Baldwin illuminated harsh injustice to disrupt the perpetuation of violence. Anne Lamott writes to tell the truth about being human, especially the messy parts. She offers grace and hope through that honesty. If you're familiar with these authors and their work, you can see their themes. Those themes emerge from somewhere deep within and reveal their why. Writing with purpose, a sense of why, really matters because it adds depth and meaning to your words, and it motivates you to keep going. Too many writers with important stories to tell never get around to telling them. They stop before they finish, or sometimes before they even get started. It is not enough to want to write. You need a reason that motivates you to get to work when inspiration disappears. A reason that compels you to face difficulties or doubt or a crammed schedule. Without a reason, it's easy to set your writing practice aside and say, well, maybe later. Trust me, I know. I struggled to find my own why for a long time. I thought I wrote simply because I enjoyed the thrill of bringing words and ideas together in a meaningful way. But that attitude actually worked against me. It equated writing with fun rather than purpose, and if other demands arose, I put it off until later. How could I allow myself that kind of pleasure when I should be addressing my responsibilities? I didn't find my why until I took a course on managing creative careers. Through that course, I realized that I wasn't just playing with words. I was looking for the spark, the one that warms the center of your chest when you hit the perfect note, when you strike the right balance between light and shadow in a painting or photograph, when you gather just the right cluster of words to illuminate a pearl of truth, something that is so much more than the sum of its parts. I long to find that spark and share it with others, to inspire them, to awaken them in a moment that feels as though we're transcending time and space and finding a world of connection and understanding. In fact, when I look back over a long list of articles and manuscripts, even the songs and poetry I wrote as a young adult, that theme shines through again and again, and it shapes my why. I am on a mission to spark change through the power of story. That sounds a bit lofty, doesn't it? Audacious even. And that's okay because it lights a fire under me. Knowing my writing has purpose or a mission beyond myself gives my practice more weight than simple pleasure. And on the days when inspiration wanes, My why holds enough passion to keep me going. Your why may be different than mine, but if you look closely, you'll find that there's patterns in your writing that reveals it. Finding your why is not a fluffy, inspirational exercise. It's practical, and it's deeply human. So start searching for it. Go beyond surface level answers like, because I want to be published, because I want to make money, because it's fun. Even if these things are true, they're not deep enough to sustain you when the writing gets hard. What does writing give you that nothing else does? What part of you comes alive when you write? And what truth are you trying to explore or share? That last question is really the key because a strong why comes from serving others. Let's break it down into 3 steps. Step 1, find your recurring theme. A theme is not just a topic, it's a recurring tension, a question, or emotional terrain that keeps showing up in your writing. Often it involves something that has dramatically impacted your own life. For example, a friend of mine lost her brother to leukemia at a young age. Her novels explore the impact of loss and responding to it. So here's your first task. Think of 3 things you have written or have tried to write that hold deep meaning for you. Don't choose what you think is best. Choose what feels most resonant. Now, name the central tension in each. For example, belonging versus rejection, freedom versus responsibility, faith versus doubt, love versus self-protection. Mine might be defined as connection versus isolation. When you find that repeating tension, whatever it is, you're on to something. Step 2, identify the question beneath the theme. Now, search for the questions behind this tension. You're not looking for plot or structure, but meaning. Ask yourself questions like, what am I trying to achieve in my writing? What impact do I hope it will have on readers? What am I still trying to make sense of myself? What human experience do I keep returning to with tenderness, anger, grief, or awe? This is where your theme begins to solidify. Step 3, turn your theme into a working why. Now take your discoveries and begin framing a purpose statement from them. You might start by naming what you write about and why you do it. For example, you could say, I write about everyday heroes so readers can begin to notice the courage around them. I write about hope so that people can see beauty, meaning, or possibility where they assumed there was none. I write about loss to help readers find pathways to healing from grief. Stated this way, my personal why might be something like, I write to explore the truths beneath the surface so that readers can recognize what is real, how we're connected, and be changed by it. Then play with what you discover. Create a statement that captures the essence of your why, something that feels personal to you. Mine evolved to become the statement I shared earlier. I'm on a mission to spark change through the power of story. This theme fuels my personal writing and even efforts like this podcast because I want to help others spark change through their words. Don't think of this approach as a rigid formula. It's just a suggestion to help you get started. You can keep refining whatever you come up with too until it really resonates with you. Write it on a sticky note. Pop it in a frame. Review it before you begin your next writing session. Remember it when all of life's other important tasks try to get in the way. You might be surprised how much more weight you give to your writing practice with a why behind it. Before you blame a lack of skill, time, or discipline for not writing as much as you'd like, remember, resolutions and willpower simply aren't enough. We get further ahead by building foundations to support our goals. Your theme, your why, is the reason you keep writing, and your perseverance grows every time you remember it. If you write down your why today, even a preliminary one, you'll be one step closer to returning tomorrow and making this year a good writing year. Before I go, I'd like to share something else that might help build your foundation. I just launched Wonder Prompts on my Substack, The Fully Human Writer. These journal prompts will help you notice your through lines and stay connected to your why. The link is in the show notes. Thank you for joining me for Write, Writer, Write. I hope to see you next time.